Elega Corporation web technology is powered by PythonAnywhere, a platform which allows you to run your Python code of any kind from anywhere. For more information, check out the affiliate link in the description.
Hi, Scott Lee of Elega Corporation here. It's super hot in my apartment today, but I thought I would still go ahead and try and make a video for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and get this one out of the way today. A lot of people ask me, what is the best programming language to start with? Or they ask me questions like, how do I get into learning code? You know, I've sat down and I've kind of looked at it a little bit, and I read the articles, and these different articles tell me different things about what to learn and how to learn it and all this. You know, what should I do? And first of all, I could tell you what I think the best first programming language is, which is Python, but but I don't think that's really helpful. I don't think it's helpful. It's helpful for me or any other developer or anyone to really tell you what language you should start with. Here's what I think the appropriate answer is, though, is that I think you should start with whatever programming language is the right programming language to start with for you that gets a job done. And, you know, I also have people who ask me, how do you stay so interested in programming? And, like, my answer is always the same. I'm not interested in programming. I'm interested in what you can do with programming. Okay, programming and writing code is the difference between taking all day or all week or all month or multiple years to do something versus being able to do it in a few minutes or seconds or microseconds. You know, so that's the appeal of code. Writing code itself may in fact always be boring to you, but what should be interesting is what you're accomplishing. And if what you're accomplishing is not that interesting, chances are you have not found the right thing to work on for you. So, you know, what I would say is that if you're thinking about getting into computer science, if you're thinking about becoming a developer, find a problem that you want to solve. And then if you know that code can solve it, use code at that point. But really, you know, code is a tool. Code is not... I know that there's this big movement right now about how we want to teach everyone how to code because we think that it's equivalent to literacy in some modern sense. And I would say to a certain extent that's true, but it's not 100% true, in the sense that code is a tool. It is not like natural language, right? Like, when we're talking about regular language, like spoken language, like English, Spanish, Chinese, those types of things, those words and that syntax, that can be used to read novels and fiction, or it can be used to read the encyclopedia or a dictionary or all that sort of thing, right? And so it can be used in all these different, or news articles. It can be used in all these kinds of different ways. With code is a tool that can basically be used to do computing, and computing is often a very specific thing. Not every problem in the world can be solved with code, of course, and not every problem that you want to solve will be able to be solved with code. What I would encourage you to do is to think about what you do in your everyday life and think about how code can make that easier, and then start there. And it doesn't matter what language you use initially that gets the job done. The important thing is that you have something to show at the end of it. And of course, the number one thing that precedes all of this is you have to do. You can't just read. This isn't like learning history, and like you read history and then like you can use your knowledge of history. You can read about how code works, but in order to actually learn code, you must write code. You must execute code, and then you must repeatedly revise and retest and rewrite over and over again and iterate on a project until finally you have come up with something that actually works and accomplishes what you set out to do. So until you do those things, you've not really learned code, and code is not going to be interesting because you have to solve a problem. You have to do something with code. I always recommend to people that it is a good idea to go learn code. It's a good idea to understand how technology works. And once you begin writing code and you have a magic moment for yourself that really shows how powerful this tool is, then that may be the time when you become interested in it. If you go back and you watch the video about how I started my career as a software developer, you know that when I learned code in high school, I didn't really learn it that well. I went through code in high school and it was boring. It was terribly boring for me. And it's because of the way that I had to learn it, which was copying words out of a textbook. And I was like, this is miserable. Who would ever want to do this? And I vowed to myself I never would. But the magic moment came when I had my own problem to solve. And before I knew it, I had automated most of one of my jobs. And it was just me clicking buttons every day, and most of my workday was taken care of by code. That's not an exaggeration. I scripted all of my work, and then it was all completed by the computer within a matter of seconds. When most people, it would take them hours, right? So that was my magic moment. My magic moment was matching up data sets in a way that was so fast, no human being could ever do that. That is magic. And I don't expect you to just hear my words when I say that and for that to automatically appeal to you. But for you, it might be something different. For you, the thing that will engage you and get you to be a self-learner might be something that is unique to your life and to what makes your time easier and less tedious and just more interesting, right? So hopefully that helps. I realize that not everyone listening to this will be helped by these words, but I'm hoping that at least some of you watching will find that appealing and understand kind of what I'm saying here. You have to apply action to whatever it is you're doing. You have to pick a problem that you care about, that you want to solve. It really doesn't matter what language you choose to accomplish that, as long as that language works for you. In my case, my first language was Visual Basic. Does not have to be for you. It doesn't have to be C# or Python or Java or JavaScript or any of those things. I would say just figure out if the language that you're thinking of learning can accomplish what it is you want to accomplish. And if it can, go ahead and just start learning. Go ahead and just start writing. And you might have to start with something super simple. You might have to start with one conditional statement, which, if you don't know, that means, one if-then statement. If something, then do something. You might have to just start with that and get that to work. And that's it. That's step number one. One tiny little thing out of the way. Then you move on to the next thing. Okay, I need to go through this list of things and do this other thing. Okay, how do I do that? Well, I use a loop. I use a for loop. For every thing in this list of things, I will do these things. One tiny little block at a time, one little piece. Test it, run it, see how it works for you. Okay? It will be boring at first for some of you, but you have to get to your magic moment. And the only way you can get to your magic moment is by having a little bit of patience and kind of a little bit of faith in the process. And I'm not big on faith, but it paid off for me pretty well. So, all right, guys, that's all I got for this week. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you subscribe, share it with your friends, please. Leave me a comment and let me know what has or hasn't worked for you. Let me know if you have any questions, anything else I might be able to tell you if you are an amateur developer getting into writing code, or if you're still totally lost about how do I do X, or how do I start doing this thing in this one language, or whatever. If you have any questions like that, leave them in the comments, please. I will talk to you soon.